Hi, this is Jacqueline here with the Grow Program. No fancy editing and all that opening credits here. You're just going to get the word and something you may need to hear. I want to talk to you today about daunting and daunted. Daunting and daunted. Let's think about that for a minute. Think about something you're getting ready to do. Maybe you don't want to do it, but you have an anxiety about it, but you know you got to do it. That's being daunted. That's having a daunting task in front of you. I want you to think about a legend, a queen who had a daunting task in front of her. There's been a lot of legends, but we don't talk about our legends enough. I don't think we get them enough credit. I want to talk about this legend, Miss Harriet Tubman. I want you to put yourself in her shoes real quick. Think about the daunting task that she had in front of her. You know, not only was she in charge of herself and trying to free all these people, she didn't have no map. Wasn't no road guides or no road signs, or wasn't nothing to help her find where she needed to go each and every time. I don't know about you, but it takes me more than one time to find where I need to go. Sometimes I need to go over and over that trip before I take that trip. You know, I need to plan it out, map it out. Sometimes I gotta take a ride. You know, being a bus driver, I used to have to ride the route, you know, to make sure I had it down. She didn't have that opportunity. She had to go with how God guided her. That's how she got through. Because God gave her a great mind, what he gave you. He guided her through the stars and the moonlight. And whispering in her ear, telling her which way to go. Because I'm going to tell you something. When I came back home from being away so long, only been to the cemetery one time in my life, and that was when we buried my brother. And then to find myself back there again a week later, having no idea how I got there, just to see his spirit leave. I talk about that in my other video. You'll find that in where it says Kelvin. But she wasn't daunted. It was a daunting task, but she wasn't daunted. She knew what she had to do. And see, she was led by God. That's why she wasn't caught. She was protected. God sent the ancestors to protect her and cover her and watch over her. I know for a fact what I'm talking about. I'm talking about another legend. A king named King. Dr. King. If there was ever a daunting task, that's a daunting task. Not only did he try to convince our people, but he had to try to convince the government. What you're doing is wrong. How you treating people is wrong. And then he had to tell us, hey, wait a minute. No, we're not going to fight fire with fire. We're going to do the peaceful route. We're going to do the non-violent movement. We're going to love. That's daunting. That's even to think about that's daunting. And then not only that, but think about all the times he got hit, thrown in jail, spit on, kicked, called the N-word, called everything but a child of God. But he kept on. He wasn't daunted. See, when God gives you a task, you're not daunted. You do it because it's your purpose. Just like this is my purpose. the grow movement. Getting people to change their mindset, the way they think about themselves. Stop oppressing one another. It may seem daunting, but I'm not daunted. Because I know that I got God and the ancestors on my side. They're watching over me. They're protecting me. I have to say the truth. No matter who may not like it, but I have to speak it because they're holding me an account. If I don't say it, then I'm going to get in trouble. So I got to say it. I got to speak the truth because it says so in Luke. All truth shall be revealed. Nothing shall be hidden. You can't hide the truth. You can't hide light. Light, you can't hide light. No matter how you try, you can't hide light. You can hide darkness, but you can't hide light. The truth got to come out. So I got to say it. Whether anybody want to hear it or not, if you don't want to hear it, you ain't got to hear it. Ain't nobody making you listen to it. But I'm going to tell you, no matter, and I can't get daunted. I'm not going to get daunted. I have to, that's all a part of when you're doing your purpose. It's any purpose that God has called you to do. You do it. You do what's in front of you. You make it work. So it's changing your way you think about yourself. That's really all it really boils down to, because once you do that, everything else gonna fall in place like a puzzle piece. Your husband ain't acting right, then you change the way you think. Kids ain't acting right, change the way you think about your kids. Change how you act towards them. Let them see the light in you. Don't let them see the darkness. Let them see the light. People, it comes a time when you have to stop and say, hey, look, we've been beating ourselves up by the head all these years, all this time, and look what has got us. So we got to stop oppressing ourselves and stop oppressing one another. Down in the community where you see it's all tore up at, that's oppression. That's what that is. What you seeing is oppression. So what you need to do, get a hold of somebody that you know that's out there. Because I don't have no family members like that. But I'm going to talk to people that I see, anybody that I think may need a word of advice or help. Anything that I think I can do to help somebody, because that's what we're here for. We're not here to get all the money we can get and be out, and be out for ourselves. That's not what it's about. That's not our purpose. Our purpose here is to love one another, is to take care of one another, is to look out for one another, because that's what God commanded when He created us. It's to, and so we've gotten away from that because we have been oppressed for 400 years, and He moved us here for a reason. And now we have to come out with substance. Like the word says in Genesis, we have to come out with substance. See, that's the first book of the Bible. That's where God predict what's going to happen. So now the predictions then came to fruition. See, we done moved to the new land. We here. And it's 400 years later. So now it's time for us to come out with substance. It's not about one person. It's about all of us. It's not about one person coming out and coming ahead. It's not about me sitting up here making some DVD for you to buy and figure out, watch and read, figure out how to get the glory, because I'm not on that. Because ancestors are going to look out for me regardless. So I'm here to tell you to get your mind right, to stop thinking the way you've been thinking about yourself, about your marriage, about your children, about your job, about your life. You need to get it together, because the time is going to come. Well, He's going to come back. He's coming back. You may go before He come back. And then you don't know what judgment He has waiting for you, or how the judgment is going to be passed on to you. You don't want to be a tormented soul. Tormented soul is a restless spirit that just never rests is just tormented like a ghost. And you know about ghosts. Ghosts are real. I don't want you to get caught up in that. Don't get caught up in this lifestyle. Gang banging and thugging. Dealing drugs. Because you're going to be put in a quiet place for a long time. You're going to get it together in there. But you're going to be put away for a very long time. Too long. I want you to avoid all that. If you follow my videos, they're all free. If you follow my videos, I can help guide you into a life of glory. Rather than living a life of misery and crying. I mean, yesterday, I was crying tears of happiness. Just crying because I'm happy now. That's what I do. I used to cry because I was miserable and sad and hurting and going through. I mean, soon as I get over something else, one thing, here comes something else, something, always something. It never stopped. It's like, what in the world? And then I would be wondering, what am I here for? Just to be going through? You know, I felt like I was a tormented soul, you know? And then I was ready to escape because I didn't want to be here no more going through this. But it wasn't that, you know? It was God put me through that. I had to go through that because that was my testimony to tell you that it gets better. You don't have to be going through like you're going through. You don't have to be crying and suffering. Because I'm going to tell you something about suffering. Suffering brings about perseverance. Perseverance brings about character. And character, hope. So you ain't suffering for no reason. You suffering because you persevering and you building up your character. And that's going to bring about the hope and the results that you're looking for. God said in his word, for I know the plans that I have for you, thoughts of good and not of evil, to give you an expected end. So God has good plans for us. They're going to manifest some good things in your life, but you got to change your mind, your heart, and your mind. You got those two things. They go together. You got to change your heart and your mind. They go together. You can't change one without the other. So I'm just want to help you. I want to help you grow. Greatness reached over wisdom. Greatness reached over oppression through wisdom. That's growth. That's the growth program. That's the growth movement. That's what we on. We on a movement. We about to come out with substance. And you're going to grow with me. Because I've been propelled to make these videos. I've been just propelled to the forefront to start making videos. You know, I ain't nobody, just a old radio minister. You know, I used to be on the radio, but I knew something was missing. So that's why I'm here doing this. I have a podcast starting up today. And so look for that. I'll tell you where all that's at. See, because I'm new to all of this. YouTube, everything. You know, I just been propelled to this is my purpose. This is the reason why I went through everything I went through in my life. You know, for a time such as this, to tell you, you know, it gets better. So together we will grow. Remember that. Change your mind, change your way of thinking, and you're gonna change your outcome. Let's grow.